Gemara in Zvachim Daf Kuf Alf on Beis, we find the Machlokas Amoraim as to when exactly Pinchas received the formal status of being a Kohen. Rabbi Lazar Mechanina says, "Lo niskayin Pinchas ela ad shehargo lezimri dechsiv v'haisa lo luzaro acharov bris kunas olam." That's the pasuk in this week's parsha. That after killing Zimri, Pinchas received a bris kunas olam, showing that was when he received the status of a Kohen. Rav Ashi Omar ad shesam shalom bein hashvatim, until he made peace between the shvatim. Shenemar vayishma Pinchas hakohen v'nesiya eda b'rashe alfei Yisrael v'gomer. That pasuk in Yeshua Perek Chav Beis is referring to the incident in which the shvatim, Reuven, Gad, and Chatzi Sheva Menashe that settled Me'ever LeYarden decided to build a mizbeach on their side of the Yarden. Klal Yisrael, hearing about this, got very upset, thinking that it represented those shvatim trying to break off and create their own religion. Pinchas was sent with a delegation, to head a delegation, to speak to those shvatim and to try to figure out what was going on before a civil war would break out. At that point, the shvatim explained that this has nothing to do with us trying to start something new. We're merely just building a mizbeach as a symbol for future generations that will remind them that we are really connected to Klal Yisrael. We don't want them to think that we're separate just because we're on the other side. At that point, says Rav Ashi, the pasuk refers to him as Pinchas HaKohen. The point that point in which he made peace between the shvatim is when Pinchas received the status of a Kohen. So the Gemara asks on Rav Ashi, what does he do with the pasuk in this week's parsha, in Parshas Pinchas, that says v'haisa lo zaro acharav bris kunas olam? How does he explain that? So the Gemara says a bit of a cryptic answer. Hahu bebrachahu dechsiv. So explains Tosfos, what does that mean? Shebircha HaKadosh Baruch Hu sheyeh kohen umiyad hayochol liyos kohen aval shema lo nisratzu lo kol Yisrael ba'uso shah mipnei sheharag nasi shevet ad shesam shalom bein hashvatim b'mei Yeshua v'az nisratzu lo v'ilbishu v'chule. Explains Tosfos that Be'etzem at the time of killing Zimri, Pinchas was right to become a Kohen, but at that point, because he killed a shevet, nasi of a shevet b'Yisrael, Klal Yisrael wasn't ready to accept him to become a Kohen, which was a religious leader of sorts, and therefore, not until the point in which he made peace between the shvatim in the times of Yeshua, at that point, Klal Yisrael was ready to accept him, and he was able to receive the status of a Kohen. So, I mean, the basic idea that we see from here is that religious leadership, which the kahuna is an example of, requires these two things, these two aspects: the ability to stand up and be moser nefesh, and to go against the tide and to do things even when the people are against you, but also requires this second stage of being able to also make peace and bring people together. But I think there's another idea here at play that's very important to point out. Right? Tosfos says that really mitzad HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Pinchas was right to get the kahuna right away at the time of the hariga of Zimri. Because Klal Yisrael wasn't misratze, they weren't ready for him to become their leader. They didn't view him yet as being right for such a thing. That's why it was held off until the times in which they were ready to accept him. It's a very important idea that we see. If you ask, right, meaning you could ask, like, we don't really find such a thing by the other leaders of Klal Yisrael, by Moshe Rabbeinu, that it needed that Klal Yisrael, they were kind of just appointed by from the higher ups. So, what's the idea here? I think the idea is that we find that especially by religious leadership, if you want to be able to have hashpa on the people you're supposed to be leading, the most integral point, the most important thing, is that those people feel that you care about them and that you're in it for them. The reason that you're taking up this position of leadership is in order to make things better for them and in order to do what's in their best interest. If the people that you're trying to lead don't feel that way, so then there's just no point. It doesn't matter if you're be'etzem roi to the position. If the people that you're supposed to be having an impact on don't feel like you're in it for them for whatever reason, so then it's just a waste of time. And that's why Klal Yisrael, that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu held off and didn't give Pinchas what was Magielo really at that point until the time in which he proved to Klal Yisrael that he was here to look out for them. He was trying to, right, when he made peace between the Shvatim and averted a civil war, at that point Klal Yisrael realized Pinchas is in this for them. He's not just in it for himself. At that point, it was right for him to receive the kahuna. Wishing you all a very good Shabbos.